Hello students, welcome to lecture 1 of the solid state, one of the important topic from physical chemistry. The topic carries 7 marks in the theory examination. There is part B which consists of only 2 marks. One question will be asked on solid state on that part, in that part. And part D4, which is physical chemistry part, there will be one question of 5 marks, which can be of course 3 plus 2, or it can be 4 plus 1, or it can be 2 plus 2 plus 1, like that. In NEET and the main examination, there will be one MCQ asked on this topic. In KCET examination, there will be 3 MCQs. So very important topic, numerical question based topic. So I have to practice more numericals. But numericals can be understood only when theoretical concepts are clear. So we'll start with this weightage, more weightage. Now, in the solid state, the word used is state. This refers to state of matter. So, solid state is one of the states of the matter. What we mean by matter? We are learning this from our school level chemistry study, that matter is anything. Can be anything. We are all surrounded by matter in different form. Anything which has mass, and which occupies space, it's called as the matter. So all things we look around, they are nothing but matter because they have mass and they occupy the space. As matter is anything, and study of anything would have been difficult, isn't it? So to make it systematic study, we have classified matter on the basis of physical state into 3 categories: solids, liquids and gaseous state. So solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. These are the 3 physical states of matter at normal temperature and pressure. Out of these 3 physical states, gaseous state and liquid state, we have learned that in PUC first year. Liquid state, we learned this year also in the solution part, vapor pressure property, and when it is in solution, homogeneous mixture, its colligative property, like that. So some part is included this year also, and last year also, surface tension, viscosity, vapor pressure. These were some properties of liquids you already studied. But the solid state, you are learning this first time. In the first year, we are not learned. So in the second year only, you are learning. So, we start with this characteristic properties. Properties of solid state. The first characteristic property of solid state is there is one force called as intermolecular force. What this force does, it keeps the molecules of any substance together. It allows the molecules to stay together, called as intermolecular force. And there is one energy called as thermal energy. What is the role of this thermal energy in a matter. It keeps molecules apart. It gives energy to molecules so that molecules have more freedom of movement. So in case of solid state, these intermolecular forces are very much greater than the thermal energy. It means we can say intermolecular forces are strong. They are of higher magnitude. So molecules can stay together. The molecules are kept together in case of solid state because intermolecular forces are strong. And as intermolecular forces are strong, intermolecular distance is short. Means molecules are very much close to one another. In liquid state, they are having some space in between. In gaseous state, that space is maximum. So you can say that intermolecular distance is short and intermolecular forces are strong. Because of this property, they have definite mass because they are matter. So they have this definite mass, definite volume, as well as definite shape. In case of liquid, we can say liquid has definite mass, it has definite volume, but it assumes the shape of container, liquid and compound. In case of gaseous state, it has no doubt definite mass, but it don't have definite volume. Gases assume the volume of container. If container is 2 liter, volume of gas is 2 liter, which is enclosed into it. And they assumes the shape of container. If container is cubical, they assume shape of that. If container is spherical, they assume the shape of that container. But solids, they have definite mass, they have definite volume, and they have definite shape. This is one of the important property of the solid state which differs this state from liquid state and gaseous state. As intermolecular forces are strong and closely packed, they have very high density compared to liquids and gases, of course. They are rigid. Liquids and gases, they are fluid, they float. But gases, solid state is rigid, it won't flow. We can say they are incompressible. Incompressible means we can apply force, but we cannot change its shape, isn't it? Because particles are very close. There is no space which can be minimized. That's why they are incompressible. Eighth property, we can say that they have very low vapor pressure. They have very less tendency to escape into surrounding because they are very strong intermolecular forces. Ninth property, we can say that particles oscillates about their mid position. There is no rotational and translational movement associated with the particles. They just vibrate, oscillates about their mid position. We can say that solids is a physical state which has many surfaces. In case of liquids, we have only one surface. Gases, they don't have surface. But solids, they have many surfaces because they have that different size. That's why they have many surfaces associated with them. So these are the two characteristic properties. You might have learned them in your school level studies also. That intermolecular force which keeps molecules together is of very, very high magnitude of thermal energy which keeps molecules apart. Intermolecular forces are strong. Intermolecular distance is short. They have different mass, they have different volume, they have different shape. They have high density, they are rigid, they are incompressible, they have very low vapor pressure. The particles oscillate about their position and they have many surfaces. So these are the characteristic properties of the solids. Characteristic means it distinguishes solids from the liquids and gases. Liquids have their own set of properties. Gases have their own sets of properties. And solids have these sets of properties. If matter is having these sets of property, we can conclude that that particular matter is in the solid state. This is the way in which we look into this. Now, why we are learning solid state? Because if we look around, we are surrounded mostly by the solids than liquids and gases. Of course, liquids and gases are also there, but mostly what we see around us is a solid, and it is the physical state which is more often, more frequently used by us, isn't it? You can take any example. Mostly we deal with the solids because they are easy to handle and we know the various uses of them. But if we want to use them in a proper way or a new way, we should know their properties. So uses depends on properties, and that properties depends on structure of solid, and that structure depends on arrangement of particles in the solids. So what I am saying, arrangement of particles in solid leads to their structure, structure of solids leads to their properties, and properties of solids leads to their uses. So if you want to use a solid properly, we should know its properties, structure, arrangement of particles, and we try to modify those properties. That is the gift the chemistry offers to all the mankind, that we can modify the properties. For example, superconductors with zero resistance, they are at very low temperature, but we can think about superconductors which are at the normal room temperature, so that there will be radical change in the electrical energy we use, because there is loss of electrical energy due to resistance. We know that. If there is no resistance, we can use electrical energy to the maximum potential. So superconductors at room temperature, there is possibility, if we know what the arrangement of particles in superconductors and how we can change them. Or we can take the example of bio-compliant surgicals, means those solids which we use in surgery. If we modify them, the surgeries will be more successful, and those parts which are difficult to operate, we can operate them easily. Or we can have the various biodegradable polymers which we can use for various packaging. So the knowledge of the structure of solids is very essential if we want to have clear understanding of the properties and uses. That only we will do in this particular topic, that is the solid state. Now we try to classify the solids. because we are learning them. So best way to learn any concept is try to classify it so that we have a better understanding of that particular concept. Now, how the solids are classified? See how we are classifying solids. We are classifying solids on the basis of order, means way, method, order of arrangement of constituent particles, order of arrangement of constituent particles. Now, what are the constituent particles in the solid state? Constituent particles means particles by which solid is made up of. It can be atoms, it can be ions, or it can be molecules. So how these atoms, ions and molecules are arranged? What is its order? What is its way of arrangement? On that basis, solids can be classified into two types. First is this order of arrangement of constituent particles is of long range, and the order of arrangement of particle is of short range. Now we will explain what we mean by long range order of arrangement of constituent particles and what we mean by short range order of arrangement of constituent particles. Suppose this is the type of various particles in a particular solid. These are the particles here. I have tried to make them arrange in a similar way. There is repetition of particles. So there is repetition of the pattern over a long distance. This is one way. And in short range, there is this pattern and there is this pattern, large result. Then there will be a smaller one. Then there will be like this. Then again there will be a larger one like this. So this arrangement, we can see that there will be pattern, but that pattern is not repeated to a long distance. There is pattern. This is similar to this and this, but this pattern comes, then it is distant, then similarity, then distant. So this order is for only short distance. So what is the consequence of this? That solid in which order of arrangement of constituent particles is of long range, they have definite geometrical shape. Definite geometrical shape. And that which has this short range order, it has no definite geometrical shape. And this type of solid which has this definite geometrical shape, we call this type of solids as crystalline solids. Crystalline solids. And this type of solids which has no definite geometrical shape, has short range order. We call it as amorphous solid. This word amorphous is a Greek word which means no form. No form is irregular arrangement. Not that it is just random. There is pattern. Because if it is random, it would have been liquid and gaseous state. There is pattern. But pattern is not sustained throughout the structure. There are pattern only to the short range and more there is dissimilarity. But here is no dissimilarity. The pattern is repeated. There is periodic repetition of the arrangement of particles. That is called as crystalline solid and that is called as the amorphous solid. So these two types of solids are very important, and in the examination frequently asked question is distinguish between crystalline solid and the amorphous solid. So we'll see that difference because this is one of the most frequently asked question, the 2-mark question in part B. Many times this question has been asked. Distinguish between or difference between crystalline solid and the amorphous solid. So we'll make this type of columns when we see the difference. Crystalline solids and the amorphous solids. So first difference is of course crystalline solids, they have definite geometrical arrangement of particles. They have definite geometrical shape which repeats, pattern repeats. No definite geometrical shape. The next one is that long range order of arrangement of, I will write Cp for constituent particles, and here it is short range order of arrangement of, yes, Cp means constituent particles. As there is regular arrangement, they have sharp melting point. This type of crystalline solids, they have a sharp melting point. For example, melting point of sodium chloride is sharp. If that sharp melting point means fixed melting point, that is called as crystalline solids. But here, no sharp melting point. Now, what we mean by no sharp melting point? It melts, but with the range of temperature. Because take the example of glass. Glasses can be of various types, but pure sodium chloride is of only one type. Glasses, we can go on adding the various constituents between them. It's up to us where we use the glass, and depending on that, the material can be varied. So there is no sharp melting point because the arrangement of particle is not definite. Sharp melting point because arrangement of particle is fixed here. Another one property which is just similar to this, that they have definite heat of fusion. Heat of fusion, the amount of heat required to fuse, melt 1 mole of the substance. Definite because arrangement is definite. Here, no definite heat of fusion. Again, the same thing you can say that it is because the arrangement is of particle is not a regular one. Therefore, we can say it undergoes clean cleavage. When we break this, this is one plane, this is one plane. But when we break rubber or when we take out wax, then there is irregular cleavage into it. The surface is not clean, the surface is not planar because arrangement is not regular. But here we get one planar surface, clean cleavage. So cleavage means breaking. On breaking, we get clean plane, and it undergoes, you can say, it undergoes irregular cleavage. The next property we can say is one is they are having property of anisotropic. So they are anisotropic. I will explain what we mean by that anisotropic. And these amorphous solids, they are isotropic. And one more, last one, I will write here. They are called, crystalline solids, they are called true solids, whereas the amorphous solids, they are called as pseudo solids. Called pseudo solids, or they are also called as super cooled liquids. So they are more similar to liquids than the solids. So these are the 7 differences. You have to remember any 4. The question can be asked difference on particular point. For example, they will give the question distinguish crystalline solid and amorphous solid on the basis of geometrical shape, which is definite, not definite, order, long range, short range, melting point sharp, not sharp, heat of fusion definite, not definite, cleavage clean, irregular, anisotropic, isotropic, true solid, pseudo solid. So very simple type of differences, but very important differences these are. Now we have used this word anisotropic. So you have to prepare this question very well. You have printed notes, I have written on the board. You can make your own notes when I write on board so that you will have very clear understanding. Now what do we mean by anisotropic? What we mean by anisotropic? Iso means equal, trop means direction, and means not equal direction. That is the meaning of word anisotropic crystalline solids. So anisotropic property which we associate with the crystalline solids. Now crystalline solids, they have this definite geometrical arrangement. This is one type of particle, this is another type of particle. Say negatively charged ion, positively charged ion, like it. We can extend this to 12, but just to save time, I am just write it in a short form. Now if we take this direction in this solid, we call it as AB, and this direction in a solid, which we call it as CD. You can see the difference. Along AB, at one side we have dot, cross, cross, dot, dot, cross, cross, dot. Two different type of particles we have to either side, and they are alternate. But along CD, we have one type of particles, dot, 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 at one side, and cross, cross, cross at another side. So you are realizing this difference, that along AB, the arrangement of particle is different, and along the direction CD, the arrangement of particle is different. This is crystalline solid. I have drawn this diagram of crystalline solid. There is a regular pattern of repetition and all the sets of properties which just now we have seen in crystalline solid. So you can say some physical properties, which are those: electrical resistance, refractive index. These are types of properties. Have different values. They have different values, different magnitude. When measured along different direction, because yes, why it is so? Why crystalline solids exhibit anisotropic property? Because arrangement of particles is different along different direction. So arrangement of particle is different. That's why magnitude of physical property is different, and that is called as anisotropic. Tropic direction, iso same and different. So we are using this word, different values, different direction, different arrangement, different direction. So that's why the crystalline solids are anisotropic. For amorphous solid, there is no preference of direction, because the whole arrangement is kind of irregular. So along different directions, they may have same value of physical property. That's why they are isotropic. But crystalline solids, they are anisotropic. This is one important point we should note here. Now another one is glass. If we consider this as a glass pane of window of old building, we found that it is more thick at the bottom, than top, as well as we found that there are some milky patches into it, means some turbidity, whiteness appears in this glass. Now why it is thick at bottom than the top? Because glass flows due to gravity. Why it is milky? Because of partial crystallization process, and this property of flow and property of crystallization is associated with liquids, but they are in solid state. That's why we can call them or this glass as a supercooled liquid, or that's why it is called as pseudo solid, because it is a solid but not rigid. It is a solid but undergoes crystallization. The typical solid does not flow. If we have metal sheets, suppose instead of this glass pane, we have gold pens. Of course, we will not keep that in window because that will be opaque. We cannot see out. But if we use the metal sheets, there is no possibility that it will be thicker because it won't flow. It is solid. But for glass it happens. That's why it is supercooled liquid or pseudo solid. That's why it is also called as amorphous solid. Now amorphous solids are very important. Just look at their example. Example of amorphous solids. It is plastic, it is rubber, it is wood, it is lamp, black, starch, protein, amorphous silicon. This amorphous silicon is used in photovoltaic cell, which converts sunlight. Photo means sunlight, voltaic means electrical energy. So these amorphous solids, they are very important. We understand the role of plastic, rubber, wood and glass also one of the important amorphous solids. So they are very important in our day-to-day life, and crystalline solids are of course important. Every solid has its own uses, but as there is amorphous solid, we explain them why amorphous solids are isotropic, why they are called as superfluid liquids or pseudo-solids, crystalline solids and isotropic, and they are true solids. So important question in this today's discussion is distinguish between crystalline solid and amorphous solid. There is very less possibility that question of write the characteristic properties of the solids and gas because you are learning on the school level. So prepare this 2 mark question very well. Distinguish between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. 7 differences, and then example. Example of amorphous solids are this one. Examples of crystalline solids. Examples of crystalline solids. These are the examples of amorphous solids. For crystalline solids, examples are sodium chloride, potassium chloride, diamond, graphite, gold, silver, and then you can say iodine, solid iodine. This is the example of crystalline solids. So we learn more about crystalline solids in the next class. Thank you for watching this video.